Are you struggling with the decision whether you're going to take up roots, leave your home, downsize to a quieter, more peaceful, nature-bound area like Niagara, but don't want to leave that which you are comfortable with, your family, your friends, and your neighborhood? You're not alone, and that's what today's video is all about. I'm Scott White, and along with my wife Ellen, we make up the realtors of living in Niagara with Ellen and Scott at Rebel Realty. And we get phone calls from people just like you almost every single day. They're calling us, inquiring what life is like in Niagara Region, whether it is worth them making this huge step. Not just downsizers and pre-retirement and retiring people, but even first-time home buyers and people moving laterally, people moving out of the GTA, looking to commute or work from home in a more peaceful area, more picturesque area like Niagara. If that happens to be you, in today's video, especially if you're looking and thinking of downsizing and you're thinking of doing that in the next 9 days or 9 months, do not hesitate to give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, and I promise Ellen and I will help you make this transition smooth and stress-free if the Niagara region is right for you. And you're going to want to stick around. Midway through today's video, I'm going to take a little commercial break, if I can say that, and introduce you to a little house here. It's not for sale, but it has a great historical story that I want to share with you. So that's partway through today's video. And of course, if you stick around to the very end, you know what I'm going to say. If you've watched any of our videos before, you know what I'm going to say. If this is the first time, thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoy it. But at the very end of today's video, I'll introduce you to a great coffee shop here in Grimsby as our local gem. And in today's video, we are here in Grimsby. I know, it doesn't look like I'm in Grimsby. It looks like I'm on the treetops, and kind of I am, because I am at Lookout Point on Beamer's trails of the Bruce Trail, just on the escarpment, top of the escarpment here in Grimsby. And the reason I'm here is because that's one of the beautiful things of Grimsby. That's why people just like you are thinking of making this move. They want the picturesque beauties of Grimsby, of the Niagara region. They want the hiking trails, the biking trails, just like I am on right now. They want to be able to be close to the wineries and the vineyards and the orchards, close and right along the beach, whether it's Lake Ontario we have here in Grimsby or Lake Erie where Port Colborne and Fort Erie are. And yet, just like you, there are a lot of people who are trying to make that decision. Do I uproot my home where I've lived for the past 10, 15, 20, maybe even 50 years? Leave all that behind for this beautiful, picturesque lifestyle of Niagara? And that's why Grimsby may be the perfect place for you, because you can have all of this and yet still be very close to where you are currently living. You don't have to leave your friends, your family way behind. You can move to Grimsby, still part of the Niagara region, and still be close to all that which you have come to know and familiarize yourself with, especially as you settle yourself into a new community, a new area. So as we talk about Grimsby today, specifically how Grimsby is a great community charmed city, close to the amenities of the big city of Hamilton, Burlington, Oakville, and the GTA, we're going to walk along this Bruce Trail here on the escarpment in Grimsby so you have a much better picture of what you could have if you move this way. If you do enjoy today's video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so that you will be one of the very first people to hear of anything happening here in the Niagara region as we explore this entire region. Every city, every town, and every nuance of the Niagara region. Where to go, what to do, where to eat, and of course, everything about the real estate market here so that you can make the very best decision for yourself whether the Niagara region is the place perfect for you. Whether you are first-time home buyer or just wanting to upgrade, or you are in the boat of retirement or pre-retirement, thinking of downsizing and moving here to Niagara. In the neighborhood tour of Grimsby and the pros and cons and even the map tour, we took you into the number of different communities here in Grimsby, and they all offer a very close-knit community sense and feel. It doesn't take people very long to move here into Grimsby and find their new home, their new family, new friends, and that great sense of community. That goes all across the board in almost every part of Niagara, even so here in Grimsby. I think I mentioned with Matt and Shirley, friends of ours and clients of ours who we just moved from Grimsby to St. Catharines, and the difficulty that they had in making the decision, which trail? Yeah, sorry for the interruption. I'm at a fork in the road and I'm deciding which trail that I wanted to go down. This one here, not very well trodden, or the more prominent one. And you know what? Today, I'm adventurous. Maybe you're adventurous, that's why you're watching today's video. With Matt and Shirley, they had a difficult time making the decision to leave Grimsby because of the very thing that you may be struggling with, I should say. And that is leaving that close-knit community and friendship. They had a great relationship with their neighbors. It's here in Grimsby in the neighborhoods like Nell's Estates right here, beautiful homes, lovely old natured homes with a great sense of community where people come out and shovel each other's driveways in the snowstorms. They come out during the day and they talk with one another. They may even have each other over for barbecue or dinner, because they're not just living in the same area, they become friends, true neighbors. But the big challenge that we get from a lot of people thinking of making a move to Grimsby is starting all over, building new friendships, new connections. How do I go about doing that? In today's video, let's talk about that. If you're thinking of moving to Grimsby, how do we connect into Grimsby and make new connections? There's a great deal of opportunities. As I said, the very first opportunity is your own neighborhood. Getting to know your own neighbors, and they're willing to do that. Grimsby has a plethora of activities and groups and social events to help their inhabitants and new residents connect and build that community. The Livingston Activity Center is a go-to spot for lots of people here in the Grimsby area, especially for seniors. They have their own Grimsby Seniors Club for 55 plus, carrying on activities and events, connecting 55 and over people to one another. And that's a great place where we know a lot of people have connected into communities and friendships through that activity and that center. Or maybe you're into gardening. You could join the Grimsby Garden Club, where they hold workshops, they do community events, they actually work together to beautify the city of Grimsby itself. Or maybe you're like me and you're a history buff and you want to join the Grimsby Historical Society. Learn all about the history of the city of Grimsby. Like this place right here, this is owned by a friend of mine, and he has restored this old building back in the 1800s. It used to be a blacksmith shop. My friend took ownership of this place, beautified it, restored it, and made it look like it is right now. And it's really cool, the history of this particular place. He told me it used to be a blacksmith shop back in the 1800s. And during the War of 1812, 1814, the Americans, as we know, invaded Canada, Upper and Lower Canada, and they were making headways into our country. And they were coming up to what has become known as the Battle of Stony Creek. They stopped at this blacksmith shop to have their horses reshoed. The owner here, forgive me, I cannot remember his name. My buddy told me his name, but I can't remember it right now. But the owner of this blacksmith shop was a loyalist, not in favor of the Americans coming in and taking over our territory. So he didn't do a very good job in reshoeing these horses. So he did it just enough for them to get to Stony Creek And just as they were beginning the battle, their horses began to throw these shoes. They began to stumble and fail. And as a result of, shouldn't say the only reason, but one of the reasons why they lost the Battle of Stony Creek was because this blacksmith misshoed their horses. Now, the Americans were quite upset about it, apparently. I don't know why. And on the way back, as they were retreating back into the stateside, they stopped back at this blacksmith to say, hey, thank you so much for doing... No, of course, they actually took him as a prisoner of war back into the States, where he lived out the rest of the war in war prisoner. After the war was over, he returned home and recarried his blacksmith shop. And that's what the history of this house is. And you can find that kind of history all over Grimsby and Niagara. And if you're into that kind of stuff, a great opportunity is the Grimsby Historical Society to learn about history, get you involved in that way, and build new friendships. Of course, there's the Rotary Club and the Lions Rotary Club. There is the Legion here in Grimsby, all opportunities for people like yourself and others to connect with old people and new people, building new connections, friendships, and community. So those are some of the clubs and activities that are available for you and other new residents into Grimsby to connect and build that community. Some of you are going to be faith-based communities looking for a good church, which is another issue that I hear a lot from people who are thinking of making a move like you're thinking of doing, and they really don't want to leave their church. They have those close ties there, and they're afraid that they're not going to be able to find a church that meets their customs like they're used to in the church that you're now going to. Now, Grimsby has 17 local churches. If you're looking for a mosque or a temple of some sort, I'm sorry to tell you that Grimsby doesn't have any of those right here in its own boundaries, but not far away is Hamilton and St. Catharines, 15, 20 minutes, and there are different faith-based temples and mosques, etc. in those areas for you if you're thinking of that to meet your needs. But if you're a Christian faith-based looking for a church, there are churches that I'm sure will meet and exceed your expectations and needs. For example, there's St. Andrew's Anglican Church right downtown. It is probably the oldest church in Grimsby, built 1700s, 225-year anniversary. They recently celebrated. Actually, I think they are celebrating it this year, the 225th anniversary. It is a Orthodox Anglican church celebration on the Sunday mornings. They have lots of connections and ways to connect for people, a lot of activities for women. They also have a men's group, a youth group, a children's ministry. They do a lot of activities and events in the community itself. A very respected church here in Grimsby. Of course, we have Catholic congregations, Baptist churches, Lutheran, United churches here in Grimsby. If you're looking at a more evangelical, contemporary services and programs, there's Lake Mount Community Church, probably one of the largest churches here in Grimsby. At least last count I heard, they have about 1,500 people attending their services on any given Sunday. I think I might have just gotten lost. I'm not paying attention where I'm going or what I'm doing. I'm videoing. Well, hopefully I'll be able to find my way back to my car, back to Lake Mount Community Church. They are a Pentecostal viewpoint in their ways of celebration, very contemporary, very modern, upbeat music. Again, they have programs for men, women, youth, and seniors, their 60+ group as well. Great ways for connecting with other people of that faith slant. A church that I used to attend when I lived in this area, a smaller, more intimate church, still in the hundreds of people attending on a Sunday services, still contemporary services, more non-denominational is Forest View Community Church. That's a church that I visited and attended periodically when I lived in the area. Had some great friends and connections in that church. Again, a great place if that's what you're looking for. So there are a lot of different church opportunities if that's where you want to connect and make friends. Now, if you're a female, my wife Ellen is a co-administrator with the Women's Dinner Club of Niagara, or the Niagara Women's Dinner Club. And they have over 300 members, and they meet once a month for dinner, and they do a lot of other activities. And let me tell you, she has connected and met so many women, become really good friends with a number of them. A lot of them have come out, have moved into the Niagara region, Grimsby and beyond, and coming from Bradford and Newmarket and Toronto, and have become very good close friends. So if that's something that you'll be interested in, you can check that out in Facebook. Give Ellen a text or a call, and she would help you, direct you to that too, especially if you're moving into this area. Oh, by the way, I found my way out to that lookout that we started at. So that pretty much sums up our little tour of finding and building community here in Grimsby. And as I said at the beginning, you can make all these connections, build new friendships, build new connections, but living in Grimsby, right at the edge of the Niagara region to the GTA, you can still maintain those friendships and relationships and connections that you have in your hometown, in your home neighborhood, without much difficulty. There is a GO train system that runs from Grimsby into Toronto. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, and I do hear a number of people who complain about the number of services and that they have here in Grimsby to Toronto. A lot of people are asking for more trains leaving here, going there, because they're very limited, especially on off-peak times like weekends and evenings. But it is possible and easy for you to jump on the GO train and go into Toronto without driving your car on the QEW, if that's something that is a concern for you. Here I am, downtown Grimsby, going to introduce you to today's local gem. And I could mention a whole bunch of other ones. I could mention the Judge and Jester, a great little community pub where people all over Grimsby come to hang out and meet other people, and even new people, maybe you one day. Or the Dutch Shop, just down the street from that. Great little place for Dutch treat, or 40 Creek Distillery. They don't do wine, but they do some great whiskey. They'll take you on wine tasting, on a tour of the back and how to make the whiskey, or the Painted Turtle Pottery, where you can go and make your own pottery, paint your own pottery. Great little studio, fun little place to hang out and check out and learn about making pottery. But I decided today I'm going to stop by and go to the Grimsby Station. Again, a local hot spot of a coffee shop, great treats, great coffee, great tea, if you like chai tea like me. And it's in the old fire station here in Grimsby. I'm kind of a history buff. I love history, so that's why I like to always check out old buildings and old history. So I'm gonna pop in here and get myself my treat. I might even get something different than a chai tea. Probably not, but maybe. You're gonna have to wait and see what I get. Get your coffee, tea, and we'll meet you outside and we'll wrap up today's video. Okay, I hope you got yourself your drink of choice. I really put a lot of thought in trying to find something different than an iced chai latte, but I just couldn't break down and do it. I had to go to my go-to drink, which I usually get. There's been a couple times, a couple videos where I got something different. So I always got to keep you guys guessing if you're watching me regularly. It's a good chai. And I got myself what they say is their #1 seller of these things all the time, their Morning Glory muffin. Again, I was wanting to get that banana chocolate chip muffin or that s'mores cookie, but I thought I'd go for a little bit less sweet today and go for this. So, but before I dive into my treat here, let's just sum up today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. It was really geared toward those of us in my age bracket, 50 to 60 years of age, maybe even 65. You're thinking of retiring, you're getting up to that retiring age, maybe even 45, you're thinking of retiring in the next 10 years or 15 years, and you're looking at kind of slowing down your work pace. You want to work from home, a better work-life balance. Niagara region could be it. And we looked at that real big challenge of making such a significant big move out of the neighborhood that you spent so many years in, coming into Niagara. Grimsby has a lot to offer, that community, that charm. There's a lot of opportunities for you to meet people and rebuild very, very quickly that connection, We've had a number of people who moved out of Bradford down to Grimsby. That's that very reason. They found that Grimsby was really close to the GTA. Cheryl and Michael moved from Ancaster, Hamilton a couple of years back into Grimsby, and one of the reasons they did that was because all their friends and connections and the church that they attended to was in Hamilton at the time, and Grimsby was more affordable. It was still a slower, charming community lifestyle that they were looking for, but close enough to Hamilton that they could get back to their friends and community very easily and quickly. And the funny thing is as time went on, it didn't take them very long to settle in and really become connected and grounded in Grimsby. And so that is one of the reasons why a lot of people move to Grimsby. One of the other bigger issues that we have at our age looking to make a move is healthcare. The good news is we're really close to Hamilton General Hospital, which is a great hospital for the heart issue care. I had a heart attack back in 2017, and that's where I went. They took excellent care of me. Have no really strong ramifications from that incident because of their care of me. Then there's the Jurasinski Cancer Hospital up on the mountain. They're all about 15-20 minutes from here. And then Grimsby is right now, as we're speaking, building a brand new hospital that should be up and running in about 2 years' time, 2027. So that will also increase and benefit the healthcare system for those of inhabitants living here in Grimsby. So once again, I hope it was beneficial. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button, subscribe, turn on your notifications so that you can be one of the first people to hear of anything happening here in Niagara. And also share this video with others who may be in the same boat thinking of making such a significant move. Niagara might not be the place for them. This video can hopefully help them make that decision. And if it's you, you can always reach out to Ellen and I, and we will answer all of your questions to really help you make that decision. So with no further ado, I'm going to end today's video. I'm going to try my Morning Glory muffin. Glorious.